Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kwakadash, double honors to all the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to the whole full elect scattered abroad down the four corners of the earth. So in this video, I want to go into how America's Babylon the Great, and how America is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear fire, and also it's going to be destroyed by the chariots, which are the so-called UFOs. So I put together a list of some precepts, and I'm going to start off with Malachi chapter 4, verse 1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud ye and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. So there's going to come a time, there's going to come a day when things are going to burn as an oven. Now what's going to do that? It's going to be the nuclear missiles. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. So people that do wickedly, a lot of people are going to be caught up in that destruction. Let me get Jeremiah. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah. Now the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, that's a beautiful chapter. And chapter 51, that goes into both those chapters, 50 and 51, they go into the destruction of Babylon. It's not talking about ancient Babylon, it's talking about modern day Babylon, which is America. So this is Jeremiah 50 and 13. Because the wrath of the Lord, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goes by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. So Iraq is where ancient Babylon was. All right? And this is saying that it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. So this is one way you know that Jeremiah chapter 50 is talking about modern day Babylon, which is America. It's not talking about ancient Babylon, because if it was talking about ancient Babylon, that would mean that Iraq would be uninhabited and it would be desolate. Okay? Verse 14, put yourselves in array against Babylon round about. All ye that bend the bow, shoot at her. Spare no arrows, for she has sinned against the Lord. So the arrows represents the nuclear missiles. So all the nations that possess nuclear missiles, they're gonna aim them at America and shoot America with them come World War III. And they're not gonna hold back either. Verse 15, shout against her round about. She has given her hand, her foundations are fallen, her walls are thrown down, for it is the vengeance of the Lord. Take vengeance upon her, as she has done, do unto her. So America's going to be wiped out, and that's the vengeance of the Lord. Verse 16, cut off the store of Babylon, and him that handles the sickle in the time of harvest. For fear of the oppressing sword represents destruction, they shall turn every one to his people, and they shall flee every one to his own land. So come World War III, there's gonna be a point where people that came to America from other nations, they're gonna want to flee America because they want to get away from the destruction. They're gonna know that there's a world war, and eventually other nations are gonna shoot nuclear missiles onto America. So America is that great melting pot. A lot of nations came here to get rich. So let me get Jeremiah 50 and 33. Let me jump down to the 33rd verse. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were pressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. So another way you could tell that Jeremiah chapter 50 is talking about America is because when you go back into history, the Northern Kingdom, they were taken away captive by the Assyrians. So it says the children of Israel and the children of Judah were pressed together in Babylon. All right. So that's talking about here America, because you got all the 12 tribes here in America. All right, and it says that they refused to let us go, so we're still here. So let me get my next precept. Jump down to the 39th verse. Therefore the wild beast of the desert with the wild beasts of the islands shall dwell there, and the owl shall dwell therein, and it shall be no more inhabited forever, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Now, like I was saying before, Iraq is where Babylon was. So it's saying that it won't be dwelt in from generation to generation, and that it's basically going to be a desert. It's going to be desolate. You understand? Now, obviously, there's people that are still living there in Babylon. I mean, in Iraq today. And a precept that lines up with that is Isaiah 13 and 20. It talks about how Babylon won't be inhabited, and how our children, they won't be going over to Babylon the Great. They won't be coming over here to America. So this whole chapter is talking about America. America is modern day Babylon. This is not talking about ancient Babylon. So this is verse 40. As the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, saith the Lord, so shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell therein. Verse 41, behold, a people shall come from the north, a great nation. A people shall come from the north, and a great nation. And many kings shall be raised up from the coasts of the earth. So that people that is talking about that's coming from the north is talking about Russia. Russia's going to have a hand in World War III, among other nations as well. So let me jump down to the 46th verse. It says, at the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, and the cry is heard among the nations. So when you go back into history, ancient Babylon was overtaken by the Persians. So you mean to tell me that when the Persians took down Nebuchadnezzar, there was a great noise and something that moved the earth? It doesn't make any sense. Let me read that again. At the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved. So the thing that's going to make a lot of noise and move the earth is the missiles, the nuclear missiles. And the cry is heard among the nations. All right? So let me go to Jeremiah chapter 51. Jeremiah 51 verse 6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. So America has what it's got coming to it, and that's destruction. Verse 7. Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken her wine, therefore the nations are mad. So the wine represents philosophies, and the nations have drunken it. Now, one of the philosophies that the other nations, partake in or practice is democracy. America has spread democracy around the world. And another thing that got its start here in America and that spread around the world is feminism. I believe feminism started off during the time of World War II. That was when a lot of the men went off to war. So women of the household, they had to step up and assume a greater role, and that's when they started going to work, and they started wearing pants and whatnot. So really, when you come to think of it, America started feminism. This is the place where feminism started, and it's spread around the world today. And feminism now, it's grown so much, and a lot of women have that mindset where they don't need a man. That's how they feel, and they have that independent spirit. So that started here in America. So let me get Revelation 18. Revelation 18 and 1. And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. Verse 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. That's talking about America. Verse 3. For all the nations have drunk of the wine of her wrath, of the wrath of her fornication. A lot of nations, they went into bed with America, so to say. And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. So you got a lot of nations that got rich off of America. You got a lot of people that came to America to seek the so-called American dream and make money. But come World War III, when the destruction takes place, when this place is wiped out, that's going to be no more. Ain't no more nations going to be getting rich off of America. And when this time comes, that's when we're going to be established in our kingdom. All right? But before the destruction takes place, a prophecy has to be fulfilled, and that's the mark of the beast prophecy. That's a major prophecy. You understand? So let me get Revelation 20 and 15. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. So what you see right there in the thumbnail, that fire over America, that's what John saw. He called it a lake of fire. I got Revelation 21 and 8 right here. But the fearful and unbelieving and abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. So the second death is talking about when that fire comes, when the missiles drop, when the chariots start reaping destruction, causing havoc. So that's the second death. The first death is when you go back to the time of Noah, when the flood took place. So the Most High jacked up the earth first through the flood, and he's going to jack up the earth this time through fire. That's the second death. Let me get another one. Revelation 20 and 14. And the death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. So that second death is coming, man. And like I said, the destruction is not going to take place until the mark of the beast prophecy is fulfilled. You know, that prophecy has to be fulfilled first. That's a major prophecy. So let me get Isaiah 66 and 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. So those chariots are talking about so-called UFOs. And they're going to cause a lot of destruction, like I said. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. So a lot of people are going to die when the Most High sends his son back, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Yahushua. You know, Yahushua is the Heavenly Father's son's name. And the Heavenly Father's name is Yahweh. So that day is coming. They'll be shooting laser beams down. But also what the chariots are going to do, they're going to beam up the elect. They're going to save the elect from the destruction. You understand? Starting with the 144,000 and the 1/3. Only the elect are going to be saved when this destruction happens, when it takes place. So let me get Luke 21, verse 27. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. So that Son of Man is talking about Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And he's going to be coming on a gigantic UFO. It says that the Son of Man is coming in a cloud. All right? So the Lord, he's going to be coming back in style. Verse 28. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draws nigh. So the elect are going to be beamed up. They're going to be saved from this destruction. And then that's when we're going to take the kingdom. You know, the kingdom of heaven is going to be established. And Esau, the so-called white man, he's going down. You know, the Edomites are going down. All you Edomites. And you're going, and all the nations, you know, the heathen nations, they're going to be up underneath us too. So, matter of fact, let me get this one. I think I'm going to close out with one more precept. So this is 1 Thessalonians chapter 16. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 16. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel. So Michael the archangel, he's gonna have a hand in this destruction as well, you know? He's gonna be causing havoc. And with the trump of Yahweh, and the dead and Hamashiach Yahushua shall rise first. Verse 17. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds talking about the chariot, to meet the Lord in the air. So shall we ever be with the Lord. So the dead are going to be risen up, and the ones that are alive, they're going to be caught up with them. They're going to be caught up with the rest of the elect in the chariots. You understand? So the clouds is talking about the so-called UFOs. You understand? Verse 18, wherefore comfort one another with these words. So you gotta understand, like, these scriptures, they're written in code. It's not gonna say that, oh, America is Babylon the Great. You're never gonna find it in the scriptures where it says America is gonna be destroyed. Because if it did, Esau, the so-called white man, they would burn every single Bible. You know, why would they leave that in? You know what I'm saying? So you have to understand the Bible is written in code. So I'm gonna close out on that. Hope y'all found this video edifying. Shalom.